Mrs. Hammer will be your counselor if your last name is between L and Q. I will be your counselor if your last name is between R and Z. One of the most important things you and your counselor will work together on is making sure that you meet all of the necessary graduation requirements so that you may graduate on time with the rest of your class. As a ninth grader, you will be expected to take English, math, science, social studies, PE, seminar, and a foreign language. You will also have an opportunity to choose some electives. Throughout your remaining 3 years in high school, you will not only continue to fulfill graduation requirements, but you will also have the opportunity to continue taking electives that you are interested in. In order to graduate in 4 years, the following courses are required: 4 years of English, 4 years of math, 3 years of science, 3 years of social studies, 2 years of the same world language, 1 year of PE, 1 semester of health, 1 year of fine arts, and 1 year of some form of career technical education. All courses must be passed in order to earn the necessary credits. Each semester class at Fraser High School is worth 1/2 credit. Seminar is the only exception. It is only worth a 1/4 credit for the semester. You will need 27.5 credits in order to graduate, but will have the opportunity to earn more. A credit is a number value attached to each course you take and pass. These requirements are listed in the box at the top of the registration card. They can also be found by going to the Fraser High School homepage and under the word links on the left-hand side of that page, clicking on scheduling. Once this page is open, you will need to click on graduation requirements and policies for class registration to easily see the requirements. Mrs. Hammer will now discuss block scheduling, freshman seminar, and how all of these classes will look on your schedule.
At Fraser High School, we are on a modified block schedule. With block scheduling, students attend a fewer number of classes each day for a longer period or block. Instead of 7 classes that last 45 minutes each, students will have an alternating schedule of classes. At the start of each day, blocks 1 and 6, you will begin with a 45-minute short class. The second class of each day, blocks 2 and 7, will be your freshman-only seminar. Freshman-only seminar provides a 50-minute teacher-led study hall for students. The remaining blocks of the day then alternate. On blue days, you will attend blocks 3, 4, and 5 for 90 minutes each. On gold days, you will attend blocks 8, 9, and 10 for 90 minutes each. Mrs. Bartlett, an assistant principal at Fraser High School, will now discuss the program of study.
The program of study is online and can be viewed by you and your family. It can be found by going to the home page for Fraser High School, going to the left side of the page under links, and clicking on scheduling. Open the tab marked Program of Study. This contains a listing of all the classes available at Fraser High School. On the left are the departments. By clicking on the department, you will see the offerings available in that area of study. Notice that there are grade prerequisites for some of the classes. Mrs. Hammer will now explain a prerequisite.
Certain courses require that you have prerequisites in order to add that course to your schedule. These courses are identified by the word prerequisite under the description in the program of study. Prerequisites indicate the grade level or prior course requirements necessary for students to select a course. Mr. Howell will now discuss course differences and PE requirements.
All students are required to take both physical education A and B courses before graduation. There is an option for students to receive a PE waiver for one of the sections of PE, but students must meet 2 requirements. First, the student must have a minimum GPA of 3.4 or higher after their 5th semester is completed. This would be in the middle of the student's 11th grade year. Also, a student must have completed 2 years of either marching band with a minimum of a C grade or competed for 2 years on a school-sponsored sport. Once both of these requirements are met, a student must fill out the waiver form from their counselor and submit for final approval. Oftentimes, there is some confusion in regards to the difference between career and technical education, also known as CTE, and fine arts courses. When scheduling, the easiest way to know the difference is by the course number that is next to the course name. If the number is in the range of HS 4000 through HS 6999, the course is considered a CTE class. These courses consist of classes such as Foods and Nutrition, Web Design, or Wood Technology. If the course is in the range from HS 7000 through HS 8499, the course is considered Fine Art. These courses consist of classes such as Varsity Band, Concert Choir, and Foundations in Art. Students are required to pass a minimum of 2 CTE and 2 Fine Arts classes before graduation. Mrs. Colby will now discuss the registration card you received.
Please look at the registration card that you were given. At this time, print your name clearly at the top.
There we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Lons. I'm the proud principal here at Fraser High School. The video that you've seen is to help you with the scheduling process. We've stopped it right here because you don't have all the information in front of you. But if you want to view this, it's online at our Fraser High School website. Then click on scheduling, and then you'll click on 8th grade. So it's pretty easy. Just remember scheduling, 8th grade, and you're good to go. Today is a pretty informal day. We're going to have you here probably for about 10, 11 minutes just to give you kind of an overview of what's going to happen tonight. And then you'll have the opportunity to go throughout the building and visit with our different departments. I want to thank you for making the time to come in today. And I appreciate all of the effort that it took to get here. You know, it's pretty early, you got to get through dinner. I have 3 kids, so I can appreciate the challenges it becomes to make it at this time. Just a year ago, I was sitting where you were sitting as my daughter was an 8th grader going into 9th grade, and that's my oldest child. So I can appreciate if this is how many is this your first child going to high school? Okay, so I totally get where you're coming from, and maybe a little bit of anxiety that you have, but don't worry, we are trained professionals that know what we're doing. Your child will be safe with us, and they will have a fantastic time while they're here at Fraser High School. This is my 4th year here at Fraser High School, and I've enjoyed every year. And every year I can say that I think I've gotten a little bit better, and certainly I've gotten to know our community and the school a lot more as my time here has progressed. I feel very fortunate that every day I get to come in, work with a wonderful staff, and have fantastic students, your children, that I have the pleasure of being involved with. So I thank you for all the time and effort that you put in to bring us really great kids so we can take them from where they are now academically and move them forward, and then 4 years from now be able to give them some choices of where they want to go after Fraser High School. I have one more piece of information I'm going to share with you, and then Mr. Robinson will come down. The last piece of information I have is that you may have noticed that at 7 o'clock tonight, there's a standards-based learning meeting, or what we call SBL, and I'll just give you a 30-second overview of what that meeting's going to be about. Feel free to attend. If you're still out and about, feel free to stay out there. It's going to be videoed, and that link will also be put out there, so you can always watch it at your leisure. At Fraser High School, approximately 80% of our core classes now this year have started with standards-based learning. And what that means is to pass the class, and again, very 30-second big picture overview, to pass the class, you have to prove knowledge in specific areas. Back when I was in high school, you took a test, you did your homework, maybe you brought in some paper towel for extra credit, they added up all your points, divided it out, and if you had a 659 and a half or higher, you passed the class, right? As an educator doing this for 20 some odd years, I don't know what an 80% means. I don't know if you learned the most important 80% of the class. I don't know if you turned in your homework and that's the 80%. I don't know if the 20% that you didn't learn is important enough for you to go back and relearn it. And that's probably a lot of the experiences that you had in high school. You just got the percentage or in college and you moved on with your life. What we're doing now is we're making sure that whatever grade you have in a standards-based learning class reflects exactly what you should have learned. So we choose the most important parts. These are the things that you have to know, and we hold you accountable for those. The things that we want you to know, that's still stuff that we measure. It's still that you get assignments. All that hasn't really changed. But that's not going to hold you accountable in that class for passing the class or not passing the class. But those things that you have to know, that's if you haven't passed that, then we have to make sure that you remediate, retry, and that you pass that before we give you credit in the class. It kind of makes sense, right? I don't really want the people, like an airline pilot, I don't want the airline pilot just to know 80% of stuff. I want to make sure that the airline pilot knows 100% of what they need to know to make sure that they can fly the plane appropriately. So that's the theory behind it. If you want to know a little bit more, feel free to come back at 7 o'clock. Next year, we're going to have a 9th grade parent orientation night. We'll talk about it more than 2, so if you can't make it tonight, it's no big deal. And it'll also be available online through a Weebly site that we have, and I'll send that out after this meeting to everyone in our community. And there'll also be, the presentation will be available there too. So you have some choices if you can't make it tonight. At this point, I'd like to bring our athletic director, Mr. Brad Robinson, down. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. As Dr. Lawton said, I'm Mr. Robinson. I'm the athletic director for Fraser Public Schools. Excuse me. I get the chance to talk to you not only about athletic opportunities, but some other things. We've got a number of sports here. A number of them have 3 levels, freshman, JV, and varsity. If your son or daughter wants to try out, we're going to put this online as well, but if they want to try out, we've got a number of seasons, fall, winter, and spring. One of the biggest things, though, and we always get this question, physicals. You have to have your physicals after April 15th, 2014. That way, if you get a physical April 14th, we have to have a new physical for your son or daughter for the next school year. Okay? So once again, we will post that. 2 things that are actually tryouts for this year, for next season. If you look at the dance team, it's a cut sport. They actually try out early May. They'll be sending stuff out to Richards as well. And then the sideline cheer is also a cut sport, and they actually try out early May as well. So those are the only 2 that actually have tryouts at the end of this school year. Everything else starts either August 11th or later. So we will post that up online for you guys to see. Lost my train of thought. Don't you hate when that happens? Anyways, the other part of it that I need to stress with you guys is push your son or daughter to get involved. It doesn't have to be athletics, okay? We've got a number of clubs and activities. We've got a fantastic performing arts. We have a fantastic band. We have student council. It doesn't matter. Push your son or daughter to get involved in something, because that's another set of eyes helping you guys make your son or daughter be successful. Athletically, we do grade checks every 2 weeks. So we know what your children are doing. They may be suspended for a little bit if the grades are falling a little bit. We also, with the coaches, our coaches don't love it, but they do add incentives if they have to, in case your son or daughter may not be making it to school on time or class on time, in case all of a sudden the grades start falling. So those incentives may not be so much fun for the athlete, but it stresses the point that academics are important. It's important to get involved. It's important to have another set of eyes. It's important for other people to get to know your son or daughter, because that's where school becomes fun. That's what makes the 4 years go by super fast, and that leads to successes along the way. At this time, I'm going to introduce Karen Colby.
Good evening. Glad you could make it on such a cold night. I'm the counselor at the high school that has the first part of the alphabet. All of the counselors went over to the middle school to explain or answer questions. I know this is all overwhelming. There's a lot of information, so I'm going to try and shorten what I can because it takes a while to process everything. But please don't hesitate to ask questions. Your students were given that program of study, and there are a lot, and they were given the book to fill out the classes that they want. Some of them are already pre-coded for you. Tonight, we'd like you to go around and talk to, especially the electives, talk to the social studies department. Look ahead more than just 1 year. Where do you want to be by the time you graduate? Make sure you can fit everything in. We have a lot of opportunities here. We offer a lot of advanced placement classes. If you see an AP in front of it, it means that at the end of the year, in May, if a student takes that class and takes a test, depending on the score that they receive, they might be able to earn college credit for it. We have hybrid classes. Hybrid classes, we try to explain to the students, but it's a little different. You are online part of the time and you are in the class part of the time, because we use a lot of technology here. So there's a varied number of classes that we use different mediums in order to teach. We have AP English classes in the 11th and 12th grade, and some of the other AP classes are also taught through Rochester College, and they can get college credits just by taking the class without taking the test per Rochester College. We also have support classes. So depending on what happens the rest of this year, I would encourage the students to do the best they can, but we do have some other remedial types of classes to support your student, to help them be successful. Our goal is they get out of Fraser High School in 4 years with the best education and an opportunity to have a wonderful career. We have to have 27.5 credits in order to graduate, as that was shown on the podcast. A student could earn 30 credits. So there's a little bit of leeway in there. That seems like a large number, but because of the block scheduling, we can earn more credits than many other schools. It's very difficult for some of those other traditional schools to fit in the 2 years of a world language and to fit in the social studies, to fit in everything that's required by the state of Michigan if you don't have block scheduling. We're very fortunate that we still have block scheduling here. It gives your students an opportunity to continue with the language, to participate in band, or to participate in choir. One thing I will say, if you plan out 4 years, you may find that you can't get in everything that you want to. So there's another option that we have. It's called testing out. In May, the middle school will get some paperwork, and if you choose to try and test out of some classes, you have to fill out that paperwork, and let's say, for example, I want to try and test out of World History A, and I want to try and test out of Algebra 1A. You study over the summer, you get the materials before you leave school, and then when you come back, there's a schedule just before school starts, and if you pass with a 77% or higher, you get credit for the class and don't have to take it. It's not part of your GPA, it's just a credit. But that allows you maybe to take some other electives. What we'd like you to do tonight is talk to some of the teachers to find out what's in your students' best interest. Everything is on the first floor here. When you leave here, you go to the left, you'll find the art department. They have some samples of the artwork. We have sculpture, we have multicultural art, we have digital photography, all good classes if your student likes the area of fine arts. Right next to the art area, you'll find the math department to explain the curriculum that they expect that you have to have by the time you graduate. If you keep going around the building, you'll find the world languages. We have French, we have German, we have Spanish. Some of you have taken algebra in the 8th grade. Some of you have taken a world language in the 8th grade. That's great. It gives you more opportunities to try other electives should you choose to. If you continue around the building, student council is here. The PE department will explain some of their electives. We have weight training, we have basketball, we have football gym, we have swimming and fitness. There's a lot of electives if that's an area of interest for you as well. Continuing around the building, kitty corner from here, the social studies people will talk a lot about their AP classes. If you're interested in that, the business department has some opportunities for you. We have a school store here. In the school store, they do a wonderful job with work. We have a culinary arts department, and Mr. Burns is going to say a couple things about the CTE programs. Welding, wood tech, and I hope I'm not duplicating it. They've got a wonderful setup in the corner. You can go and look at the facilities. Continuing to the right here, we've got the band and the choir. If you're interested in looking at the facilities there and talking to Mr. Rogers, Mr. Charlin, Mr. Pasquaretti, and English is in this short hallway. They have beautiful signs up so you can find them and talk to them about the English program. After you talk to them, read the program of study, make sure you know on the electives what you're signing up for, and it gets turned into the teachers at the middle school on Monday, the 10th of February. Then we'll go back and help them actually put it on the computer the next couple of days. So Mr. Burns, our CTE director and in charge of the Industrial Tech Department, would just like to have a few words with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Colby. As Ms. Colby said, my name's Matt Burns. I'm in charge of all of our career and technical education programs at CTE. I just want to say the mission of CTE is to assist our schools in providing students with the skills necessary for a successful transition to a career or a post-secondary education. CTE is an essential component of the high school curriculum, and it's a critical element in meeting the needs of our students to help support their academic achievement, their career exploration, and their career preparation, along with leadership development. Some of our high school CTE programs include health sciences, including patient care and sports medicine, business management, marketing, with a new sports and entertainment marketing course. We also have our school store, which is completely ran by our students, the Rambler Warehouse. We have finance and accounting, web design, along with a Microsoft certification course called Microsoft Office Specialist. We have hospitality in our culinary arts program with, again, a student-ran restaurant, the Fraser Grill. We have our family and consumer science courses with a new fashion design program, which is state approved. We have welding, manufacturing, woodworking. One of our newest state approved programs, drafting and CAD design. We just purchased a new 3D printer with an injection molding machine. So the students can actually draw an object on the computer, send it to the printer, and print it out. So we've been doing a lot of cell phone cases and bobbleheads this year. Alongside that, we have electronics and engine technology and manufacturing. So as you take some time tonight and tour the building, speak with those instructors that the careers that your students may be interested in. As I listened to the other people speak in front of me, one word that everyone used was opportunity. We do have an incredible amount of opportunity here for your student. So I stress that you would please take advantage of this opportunity. Thank you very much. Dr. Lantz is going to come back and we'll be wrapped up. Thank you.
Okay, so in a minute we'll have you head out and then you can check out the departments and you can ask whatever questions you like. If you happen to make it down to our athletic area, which if you're facing my way is all the way down there towards 15 Mile, we have a gymnastics event going on. You're welcome to walk in there and take a look and see some tumbling if you like. Two people that are here that I'd like to introduce, and you can say hello to them on your way out. In the back in the red is Mrs. Beth Bartlett. She's one of our assistant principals. Beth, you can wave. Thank you. And then to my left, your right, is Mr. John Common, one of our assistant principals over there. Again, I appreciate everyone taking the time to come in. If you have questions, please feel free to ask us. Enjoy your evening, and I might see you back here at 7 o'clock. Have a good night. If you're in the upper pods, you can exit through the back doors. If you're in the back pods, you can exit through the back doors.